We'll hear an argument that it's good that an art market bubble has popped.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Amazon Business, focused on offering smart business buying solutions, leaving time to focus on growth. More at AmazonBusiness.com. And by Barron's Streetwise podcast, hosted by Barron's Associate Editor Jack Howe, offering insights each week on business leaders and trend spotters, available everywhere.
I'm David Brancaccio in Los Angeles. First, there are multiple published reports this morning that the Justice Department is getting ready to sue Visa as early as today. The lawsuit could be filed by the DOJ's Antitrust Division. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer joins us now. Nancy, what is the Justice Department expected to accuse Visa of doing?
Well, David, the lawsuit apparently accuses Visa of monopolizing the debit card market. And this was first reported by Bloomberg, which says Visa entered into exclusive agreements to prevent its competitors from expanding and to keep new fintech companies out of the market. I've reached out to the Justice Department for comment and haven't heard back yet.
Fintech, financial technology companies. And how did Visa accomplish this alleged feat?
Well, when you use your debit card at a store, the merchant connects to your bank to process the payment. Merchants pay a fee for that. Visa wants them to use its network. Jarrett Seaberg, a financial policy analyst at TD Cowen, wrote about this in a research note, and he thinks the lawsuit focuses on volume-based discounts Visa gives merchants for using its payment processing network. And Seaberg says the Justice Department will have to prove that discourages competition.
And tell me about the backstory here. I was looking. It springs from Visa's failed attempt to acquire one of these fintech firms. That one was called Plaid, P-L-A-I-D, Plaid.
Yeah, apparently that's right. David, Visa did try to take over Plaid in 2020. The DOJ sued to prevent that. At the time, the Justice Department accused Visa of trying to snuff out a potential competitor. And I have also reached out to Visa about this, but haven't heard back.
All right. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer in Washington. Markets, Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures are all up between 2 and 0.3% now. Boeing has made what it terms a best and final offer to the union representing 33,000 workers. It includes larger raises and bonuses. The union says the offer came out of nowhere with no discussion. Boeing says the offer expires at 1 minute before midnight on Friday. By one estimate, the strike is costing Boeing $50 million a day. Meanwhile, we continue to cover a possible strike by dock workers from Maine to Texas that could begin next week. The U.S. Labor Department is now connected to the association representing dock employers, presumably to re-energize negotiations.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Clear Channel Outdoor, offering a nationwide network of billboards and data solutions that help businesses build brand awareness and influence consumer behavior. Billboardsforbusiness.com. And by How We Survive, a podcast from Marketplace. Kai Risdahl explores the fight against climate change. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Artists, at their best, help us see the world in a new way or help us see into the future. But what if the art market was rewarding artists at their worst? 2 years ago, Christie's Auction House sold $1.5 billion of work in a single night, but sales flagged the first half of this year. More generally, sales by younger artists were down 39% compared to a year earlier. This is for the first half of this year. Art critic, biographer, and New York Times contributor Blake Gopnik used to talk on this program about the art boom. He was leery even then. Blake, what happened now?
That boom seems to be unbooming as we speak. First 6 months of 2024 were just a disaster for the art market. One dealer said literally no one is buying art. Hot young artists who were selling for a ton are now selling for a third or a quarter of what they were getting just a few years ago. Small and mid-sized galleries are closing like crazy, really good galleries that don't deserve to close. And they've been in real pain. Those dealers have been suffering, and I understand that and feel for them. But I think the art market correction is too small. I want it to be bigger. The pain for the art market's actually a really good thing because the market that we've been having has really been just plain old-fashioned bad for art itself.
Well, you use that word often applies to discussions of, for instance, stocks, a correction. I'm hearing from you. It went too high for the wrong reasons, and this is some sort of rationality that has come back?
You know, there's no such thing as rationality in the art world. It doesn't exist. The very idea of paying anything serious for a piece of fabric covered with a bit of paint is kind of insane. So there can't be rationality. All there can be is hopefully an art market that actually helps art. You know, the global art market is worth, depending on which estimate you hear, $45 to $65 billion, which actually means it's a totally trivial industry. That's the same amount as cosmetics packaging. And the only reason you and I are talking about it on Marketplace is because art itself matters to us. And if the art market is bad for art, then we've really got a problem on our hands. And it's not like corrections in other markets. This is about art. This is stuff that really matters. And with that thriving market, the art was just unbelievably terrible.
Look, when fancy people find their investment in art has declined, I mean, it's a little bit hard for some people to gin up much sympathy. But, you know, I want artists to do well, I suppose, because they help us see the world in new ways. And they can sometimes, I mean, it's artists who help us see the future, you know, when they're really firing on all cylinders.
Exactly, David. Couldn't agree with you more. The problem is that the market is actually supporting the wrong artists for all the wrong reasons. Instead of work selling well because it's considered excellent, it's been flipped on its head. Now, if something sells well, that's a sign of its excellence. Mm-hmm. And what's selling and what's even being shown in museums is really splashy, superficial stuff. It's mostly, frankly, almost entirely big, colorful paintings that look good over a sofa. And if that market almost disappears, no one will really suffer, because the artists who are making really good art, maybe videos, maybe performance, maybe even really challenging paintings, they're not being supported by the market anyways. They won't suffer with the market going downhill.
Art critic Blake Gopnik did the big Warhol biography and has a new biography on the way of the Philadelphia collector Albert Barnes. Blake, always good to catch up.
Always a pleasure, David.
And in Los Angeles, I'm David Brancaccio. It's the Marketplace Morning Report. Here from 8 p.m., American Public Media.